gotta still do the Zoom thing of pushing all the right buttons before we ask questions. Ben, we've been talking depth chart today. We looked at the depth chart, and from a defensive perspective, you guys have done so much substituting, and we've talked about that before. What's it like to see it solidify this year and kind of know who the guys are that are expected to get the majority of the opportunities on Saturday?
Yeah, it's for sure rewarding for some, and then obviously makes others hungry. So, them releasing the depth chart, nothing changes for us. Obviously, I believe in all those guys on the defensive side of the ball. I've seen them all make plays, but, I tip my hat to the guys who are, at the top of that depth chart because, they've worked hard, they've put in the work, and I'm just super excited to go out there with the boys and play this Saturday, right? You got a ball, and then if you are at the top of the depth chart, you got to perform, you got to produce, you got to stay up there, right? So your job's never safe. You got to produce, you got to perform, you got to be that player that you say you are. So, yeah, it's a good step in the right direction for us.
Also, what do you remember from your first game at Lavelle Edwards Stadium? And also, how does that translate in trying to help guys get prepared who are getting ready for their first opportunity?
Yeah, that's a great question. I remember my first start, my first time getting a lot of playing time and going out there. It was we were playing Arizona 2021 in Vegas, and surreal moment, man. It was one of those times, I called my dad, they gave me the nod that I was starting, man, and it was an emotional moment because it was just I had worked so hard for it, and I was super grateful for it, and I went out there and I was super confident in who I was and the football player that I was, and I ended up having a good game, and so that really catapulted my career, and so. I think guys going out there and getting that first exposure, being under the lights, playing, it's something that you can't replicate and you don't know till you get out there. So experience matters, but, I'm really excited for those guys going out, playing Sam Houston. They're going to be a good opponent, and then going out on Saturday and just getting those reps under your belt, playing in front of the crowd. It matters. It's going to help, down the stretch, giving you that confidence. So, yeah, I remember my experience, loved it, and I'm excited for other guys to go out there and have that same experience for themselves.
Awesome. Let's have some questions from Sean Walker, then Mitch Harper.
Yeah, Ben, a little bit of a two-part question here, but I think they're kind of related because over the last couple of years, really during all of independence, it's been pretty rare that BYU opens at home at the LES. How exciting is that to be able to have a week one under the lights at Lavelle Edwards Stadium? How much does that help you guys? And do you think that maybe helps something of a new look defense for you guys, kind of be ready for prime time, as they say?
Yes, sir. That's a great question as well. It's exciting because college football's starting. You know how it is, right? You're always watching the games, especially when early September after camp. But I think definitely it's huge for us. Just playing Sam Houston, playing SUU before we get into Big 12 play. We respect all of our opponents the same, but it will be nice to be at home. You're not traveling. You're kind of in your element, and then really obviously we got a new D staff, we got a new coordinator, and so he's gonna be calling new plays. So kind of getting some of the wiggles out and being here at home and doing it in a comfortable environment, it will for sure benefit us in the long run before Big 12 play.
Ben, you brought up that Arizona game in 2021. That was a game where there were so much unknowns with Arizona offensively. Same can be said this week with Sam Houston. What are the challenges from your perspective of facing a team that has so many unknowns and really not knowing what they're going to be running this week?
You got to when you're playing a team like that and you don't know exactly what they're going to run, they got a new OC, right, personnel, who's going to be back. You don't got a bunch of film on them. You just got to stick to what you know, right? We've been going against our offense. Our offense does a great job throwing the whole kitchen sink at us. So if we do our job, we do our 1/11th, we're out there all 11 hats to the ball, I think we'll be just fine. But, yeah, it's a great question. You really got to be prepared for everything. So it'll be interesting, how we go about it Saturday, but I'm really confident in our abilities, and I'm confident in, our coaches, and they put us in the best position to succeed. So, yeah, it's going to be dope. I'm excited, and, yeah, it's a great question as well.
What's different about a game week now as a Big 12 member compared to years past navigating independence?
Yeah, being in the Big 12, it's exciting just because you got so much more to play for. There's obviously being independent was great, but you can play for conference championship. You're competing, you're watching week to week who's winning, who's losing. So it's something that we're really excited for. There's been a lot of anticipation. There's been a lot of talk, and so I'm ready to just get out there and go do it. Just go do the thing, So, but obviously, week one we got to beat Sam Houston. That's our goal. We got to respect every opponent the same. They're good. They got a lot of playmakers. We've been watching film on them, so. Yeah, don't overlook any opponent this Saturday. We're all eyes and we're all ears on Sam Houston.
All right, go ahead, Kevin, and then Jay Drew.
Yeah, after going through a full fall camp, I'm curious if you think that this is a more complex defense or a less complex defense, just from the linebacker position than kind of what you played under last year, just from getting to know the playbook, just from that aspect.
Definitely more complex, in my opinion. There's a lot of stuff you got to know. You got to be able to, run stunts. You got to the whole back end. You got to know, who's dropping where, who's doing what. But it's good. It stretches you. It makes you a better football player. And I'm excited. It was a big fall camp. We practiced a lot. We practiced hard. We did a lot of full pads. We hit a bunch. So. But I'm really confident. I'm grateful for it. It's made me more confident going into game one. But yeah, it's a big defense. There's a lot of different, moving parts in it. So you really got to be on top of your game if you want to be successful in it. And so that's really stacking day by day, brick by brick. You're not going to be perfect at it on day one, but we've come a long way from day one of fall camp till now, and we still got 5 more days to prepare. So I'm excited.
And you mentioned how physical this camp was, maybe compared to past year.
Yeah, we definitely put the pads on this year. We had a lot of days, a lot of full pads, a lot of scrimmages, a lot of tackling, and it's been good. We've came out pretty, scratch free. We haven't had a lot of injuries, but a lot of guys are licking their wounds right now, and we've been in the training room, so we'll be good to go come Saturday.
Go ahead, Jay.
Hey, Ben, last week BYU and all the church schools, I guess, came out with a new little honor code tweak, which allows, I guess, you guys to grow your hair long, all BYU students to grow your hair out. You're smiling, so you know what's coming, I guess. How did that resonate in the locker room, if it did at all?
Yeah, I mean, obviously people were talking about it. But there hasn't been a bunch of clarifications as far as just specific rules and whatnot. It doesn't change much for us. Obviously being on the football team, you got to be putting your best foot forward. And, a good representative of the church and of Jesus Christ. So obviously, if you know me, I like to have a little fun with the hair, but I'm not. No one's going crazy. You still got to keep it under wraps, keep it under control. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here in the near future. But yeah, they definitely came out with it. People, talked about it a little bit, but I haven't heard much else as far as specifics. But for us, it's all about just sticking to the game plan and don't let hair, don't let other stuff get in the way. Keep football the main thing. That's what we're doing, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. I'm excited, but yeah. Just trying to. I'm not going crazy. The hair will not be down to my ankles, so just know that. But it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. Hopefully, it gives the people a little bit more swag here and there. But it's each their own. It's a great question, though. Jay, great question, Jay.
Okay, we'll have a couple more questions from Jake Hatch.
Yeah, Ben, first off, has this had a new NIL sponsorship? What do we got going on here?
It's not. It's a little liquid death, though. I mean, it's just water. Bywater. Got to support some water companies, but I think they're Utah-based. I'm just rocking it. Yeah, liquid death. They just do canned water, but they should be. Hey, if you're seeing this liquid death, please hook the boy up.
Also, I just wanted to ask you, in terms of preparing for potentially 2 different quarterbacks who, according to reports, have different skill sets, how difficult is that for you guys on defense?
That it definitely throws a twist in things, 100%. What we've seen is they do like to run the ball and they do like to get their quarterbacks involved in the run game. So at that point, you got to just know, hey, what quarterback's in the game, what do they like to do with certain personnel. And then we'll just adjust and go from there, right? There's so many different variables that get thrown at you during the game and mid-game. You're making adjustments here and there. So you got to be prepared for everything and then go from there once the game starts.
Is it feeling real that the Big 12 era is actually here?
It's crazy. It's actually wild. I mean, it hasn't actually hit me, but it is surreal. I think when we kick off versus Arkansas, it'll really hit. You know, those week to week, you got to be on top of your A game. Going against big teams week after week after week, it'll matter. You know, your nutrition, your recovery, all that stuff. So it's gonna be big time for us.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks, Ben. Looks like that's all the questions that we have today.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Ben.
Appreciate y'all.